I am Charles Raphael, Content and Graphic Editor for SRL Into Practice, which is presented by the American Educational Research Association Studying and Self-Regulated Learning Special Interest Group. So SRL Into Practice is a series of video session conversations between an SSRL SIG leader and members of our professional community who are powerfully transforming SRL principles into practice in diverse educational settings and communities while promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. In this session, Jenny Mischel, a professor at SCAD, talks with Jessica Elliot, Director of Counseling at Potomac Shores Middle School, about Elliot's work on a wellness room promoting students' emotional self-regulation at the middle school. Please enjoy the session.
Okay, greetings everyone. I am Dr. Jenny Mischel. I am a professor of psychology at SCAD. And today I have the honor, and so do all of you, of hearing what Jessica Elliot has to share regarding self-regulation and the amazing things she and her counselors are doing at their middle school. So Jessica, can you tell us who you are?
Sure. I'm, as Jenny just said, Jessica Elliot. I'm the Director of Counseling at Potomac Shores Middle School. We're a public middle school. We're in our second year. We just opened last year. We're in Prince William County, Virginia, and we're in Dumfries, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. So we've got about just under 1,200 students at my school, and it's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Okay.
And
awesome.
then,
sorry,
sure.
Go on.
No, that's it.
Okay. And so today I chose Jessica to interview because they have set something up in their middle school, which is helping kids self-regulate their emotions. So Jessica, can you tell us what it is that you have set up and why you set this up?
Absolutely. As I said, we opened this middle school in August of 2021, and it opened with a wellness room. And a wellness room is an area in the school just designated for students to reset and practice a coping strategy. And it's, we have a whole process that I can go through, but basically it gives them a space to self-regulate and get their minds back focused on learning and then get them back into class.
Awesome. And can you walk us through that? Tell us what it's like in case somebody says, oh, I want to know more about this, and perhaps they want to set one up themselves.
Absolutely. So first you just need to designate a space. It can be really any size. We've got some people doing them in closets all the way to classrooms. Mm-hmm. Ours is about the size of an average, like half of an average classroom. So what we do at the beginning of the year is we orient all of our students on the wellness room. They sign up to come through their advisory or their first period, meet their counselor, and get a tour of the counseling offices. And then we walk down to the wellness room, which is right next to the counseling offices. And we walk them through it. We show them how to sign in. We keep the data on the sign in, and then they sign out when they leave the room. We show them what different strategies are in the room. We have over 100, and we have them categorized, and we show the students some of the most popular ones. And then we have a list or a menu of everything available in the room. So it's really simple things like using a breathing ball. We have a Zen garden that's super popular, which is one of those little sand gardens with the rakes. We got that on Amazon. We have a mini trampoline they can jump on. We have coloring. We have smelly putty. We have, oh gosh, any kind of fidget you can imagine we have in that room. So it's basically things they can do with their hands, things they can do to get their mind off what's bothering them. Have a 5-minute period, and we do set a timer when they walk in for 5 minutes to refocus. they're with a counselor, so they do have the chance to talk their issue out if they'd like to, or a lot of them just choose to use their coping strategy. If they don't know what they enjoy doing, we'll offer some suggestions. We'll let them walk around and touch everything and figure out what looks good to them. So in the sign in, sign out process, it's just a simple piece of paper. We note their student ID, the date, the time in, and then on a scale of 1 to 10, they rate how they feel. And I don't think I've told you this, Dr. Mischel, but I've just altered the form and I put a happy face, sad face on it.
Nice.
So there's no confusion on the 1 to 10 scale anymore of what's positive, what's negative. So they give us a rating, and then I set the timer and they go practice their coping strategy for 5 minutes. We check in when the timer goes off, see if they want to talk more, they're ready to go back to class. And 99% of the time, the 5 minutes is plenty of time and they're ready to go back to class. So at that point, we have them check out, where they pick another number 1 to 10 on how they feel, and note the time, and they write down their favorite coping strategy. So usually they'll do 1 or 2 things and they just pick what was their favorite, and we keep that data as well. And that's it. That's the process. We're going back to class pretty quickly.
Nice. All right. So why did you first think about implementing a wellness room? What were some of the reasons?
So it started in just noticing that there's a lot more anxiety with our adolescents, and that they needed to stay out of the clinic. A lot of them would try to go home when they didn't feel well. They didn't understand that this was a feeling that they could self-regulate, that they could help themselves back to feeling better. They just needed, number 1, a space to do it. Number 2, someone to say, it's okay, you can have a break. It's normal to have these feelings. And here's how you can get yourself through these feelings. And then when COVID hit, the whole world was impacted. We all had some type of trauma related to being at home, especially in the education world, where the kids were schooling over Zoom and they didn't get to see their friends, and all of that we were dealing with when we opened our new school. So we knew we needed a space for these kids to come and to reset and to learn these coping strategies that they're going to take with them for the rest of their lives.
Nice. Okay. And so the coping strategies it's a way to teach them how to self-regulate their emotions, right?
It is, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. And what are you finding? Because you've been doing this now for a year, and I know there's a study happening.
Yes.
Right. So you're studying the effectiveness of these wellness rooms. What are you noticing?
We're noticing that the kids do use the room. We're noticing that we have these frequent flyers that use the room a lot, but they don't abuse it. We have strict boundaries in place, and they are actually self-regulating, and they're getting themselves back to class, and they're not staying home, and they're staying out of the clinic. And they appreciate the space to do that, and the break from whatever it is that's bothering them. Sometimes it's stress from school, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's just walking down the hall with all their peers, and that's too much. So we're seeing really positive benefits from this room, and the teachers are reporting that they appreciate that there is something they can send their kids to for a few minutes, and then they come back to class and they're ready to re-engage in the lessons.
All right. So even teachers are finding this to be a huge help.
Yes, we've had no pushback from teachers at all. They've only thanked us for offering this room and the service to the students.
Nice. And are you hearing anything from students about this?
Yes, we've been collecting some quotes, a couple. They're appreciative of the time and the space to take a break. One girl walked in and said, "Oh my gosh, these are all the things I want my dad to buy me for Christmas." And a lot of times they'll ask where we purchased some of these coping tools, and they'll get them to keep at home, or they'll get them like a little fidget to keep in their backpack. A lot of the kids love that Zen garden. So it's just on Amazon. We've encourage them to buy one for home. They're really
Okay.
helpful.
Nice.
Yeah, so
So
that's
you're
what-
even
all
seeing,
positive.
so you're even, are you seeing this extending into their home life as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because the students will come back and say they're doing the coloring pages at home,
Good.
or they've bought the same fidget we have at school and they use it at home, or they keep it in their backpack.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then what are the counselors? How are they feeling? Because I know counseling centers tend to be overwhelmed.
Sure. And at first, they were appreciative too of having the space. Everybody was very supportive. When we hired the counselors for this school, we were lucky because we were able to say, we will have this wellness room in place. So we had the buy-in from day one and the expectation that that we'll have a wellness room and that we're expected to use it. So we didn't have any issues with the counselors not wanting to use the room. And it's become it's a norm in our school now that this is available. And it really has, like, I've noticed it saved us time in counseling, because before you could get kids that came down because they didn't feel well, but they couldn't really identify why or how to help themselves. So we're giving them a tool, we're showing them how to use it, and we're giving them the space to use it. And that's reduced the minutes in counseling for most of our students.
So tell me a little bit more about that. That's really interesting. So, because I know even as adults, we suffer from that, trying to understand why we feel a certain way. So how is that unfolding within the wellness room?
So, I mean, I just have noticed that in the past, you could have a student come down upset and you could spend 20 minutes talking to them about what was bothering them, but not really get anywhere. And then they've been out of class that much longer. With the wellness room, just the walking down there, the physically doing something, the checking in, the checking out, the actually practicing a coping strategy, and then them having to rate themselves. So that self-awareness piece has been huge. So all those things together have shown the kids, hey, I know I'm upset, but I know I can do something, and I know what I've chosen to do is what I choose, and it worked.
Yeah.
That's the huge piece is, oh, I did something and it worked.
Wow.
And I can help myself.
So it's really almost taking action.
Yeah.
So
yeah, taking action instead of just overthinking your issues, which adolescents, all of us tend to do.
Yes,
right?
Yes, absolutely. So you're really teaching them how to self-regulate by taking action, which I'm just trying to capture everything, which helps them calm down, know that they have control, and in the process, perhaps figuring out how they really feel.
Right. And then also the realization of, oh my gosh, something simple like playing with a fidget is a coping strategy, or bouncing. We have these bouncy chairs with I call them bungee chairs. Just that's a coping strategy. Sitting with a weighted blanket, that's a coping strategy. All these things that we do as adults, just letting the students know that's a coping strategy that your parents probably do and don't even realize it.
Right.
And that's how we get through life.
That's how we self-regulate.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. So tell me what's, I'm sure everybody wants to know, because you're doing so much. How are you expanding this?
So we've got, last year we ran a wellness club and we used that same room. So we invited students to dive deeper into wellness and self-regulation and through this club. So we use that space in that way. We did an after-school program that had a wellness component. Same idea. We just dove deeper into the coping strategies and the self-regulation and gave them more ideas. So we have like mindful eating and mindful walking and mindful breathing. Those types of activities we've used the room for as well. We have a wellness fair that we're hosting at our school. We won't necessarily be using the room, but just the idea of students looking for things to help themselves. And that's a county-wide wellness fair that we'll be hosting. So we're incorporating the room into wellness, into self-regulation, into, it's really emotional IQ and how in teaching students just how to be better and how to help themselves.
Which is
And we're
so
seeing
important.
that it's super important. And you're seeing a big push for that in the education world through the social emotional learning and that curriculum. And I know the different states are working on, okay, what do we want our students to understand and learn before they graduate? So Virginia's just pushing out some of those cell type competencies for students as well.
Yeah, amazing. Can you imagine if we raise all of our children to be self-regulated, emotional individuals?
Absolutely, it'd be
How
amazing.
wonderful that would be.
It would be wonderful. And it'll connect to helping with conflict resolution as well.
Oh, tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, we saw after COVID, when the students were isolated for over a year, that their conflict resolution skills did not progress. In fact, they probably went backwards. And we saw them get angry easily, and that turning into verbal and sometimes physical altercations. So they just didn't understand how to solve their own problems. They didn't understand how to relate with each other. And the age that we have, the middle school students, they're going through so many other changes with their bodies and their hormones and everything socially, that it was a hard year last year. And so just giving them those tools has been really helpful. And knowing that we're getting, Virginia's just pushing out some of these competencies, as I mentioned, in the social emotional learning, that I think is really going to benefit in the long term our students and helping them be better people.
Good. And if they learn how to do this, they probably are more apt to pay attention in class. Behavior might be better.
Yep, exactly. And then they're going to be available to learn.
Yeah. And then that also helps the teachers. Then they can do the teaching that they need to get done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so is this spreading to other schools? Has this caught on?
The wellness room piece, the self-regulation?
Yes.
It has. We've, in our county, so I'm also part of a private organization that offers grants for wellness rooms. So I was able to advertise the grants for other schools to get wellness rooms. It's now a $6,000 grant where you can buy anything you need to furnish the wellness room. So I want to say we've got wellness rooms in about 10 of our 19 middle schools in the county through this grant. Yeah. And then I know that
should we put that in the, I don't know if, I don't think the chat gets recorded. Let me do share screen. Let me see if I can do this real quick so we can share the organization.
Sure.
Yes. So let me get a Word doc up, a blank one. Okay. So what is, you don't need to see this. Sorry. Excuse me, everyone. Let me put this website down. There we go. Okay. Now I'm ready to share the screen. And this way everybody can get the information. So what is the organization called?
So it's Peytons Project.
Oops.
Pay.
Okay.
And I want to say if you want to open a browser, we can go there real quick.
Let's do that. I'm sure everybody would appreciate that. Okay. It's going to pop up something personal, so just ignore it, everyone. Okay.
I think it's, is it peytonsproject.org or .com? I always forget.
I think it's, yeah. Oh,
.org. No?
Yeah. I don't know. This is my computer acting funny. Okay, let's go to, I'll try Chrome. I should.
Will you get that up? I'll tell them a little bit about Peytons Project.
Okay.
It's a organization focused on
we'll do this.
Student mental health, anti-bullying, helping kids make good choices. And they do lots of fundraising, and then they give the money back to benefit students. And Peyton Freeze was a student who lost her life, and part of the contributing factor to her mental health was a concussion and students not being nice to her, bullying her. So the family and the organization is committed to making sure that doesn't happen to any other student. So supporting kids in any way. So they offer these grants for wellness rooms. And Jenny, if you want to click on the wellness room, yeah. So if you want to go to this website,
Look at
that's my
that.
wellness room. Yay.
Yay, that's beautiful. Look at
Yeah.
that.
So that's what it looks like. We've got the mural on the outside, and then inside is very simple. It's very minimalistic. So the idea was not to have the kids overwhelmed when they walk in, but you can see there's lots of different things in there. And then there is a video. It's just a little demo video about how to use the room and what that conversation might sound like when you are with a student in the room.
Nice. Look at this.
Yeah.
All right. So here are some suggestions.
Yep.
For everyone. And in case you are curious, it's Peytons Project. Let me go back to the front. Here we go. PeytonsProject.org if you or your school are interested in any of this.
Yeah, great. Thanks for sharing that.
All right. So is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think no, I think we've got a good start. We want to continue teaching the self-regulation. Just having the space to do it has been huge. And thank you, Dr. Mischel, for checking in with us and helping us with the study and showing we're still collecting data, but the data from last year was very positive.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that we're going to be able to show that the wellness rooms do work and have that real study behind it.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So everyone be on the lookout for that study. And hopefully we can keep everyone updated with things that you're finding out about the wellness rooms and how beneficial they are to middle school students and other students, right? It's not just for middle school.
Oh, absolutely. Elementary, middle, high school, college, all of it.
Yes. Yeah.
We have, and our staff members they use the wellness room too. So it really is something anybody can benefit from.
Right. Because we all need to learn to self-regulate our emotions, don't we?
We do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for being willing to do this interview. Keep up the great work. I know you are having such a huge impact on the educators, the admin, the counselors, and all of the students and probably the parents.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Great work.
Thank you. And thank you for your support as well.
All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.